I can only speak for ESPN because that's the channel I was watching. I thought ESPN was flat out disrespectful. I thought they were flat out disrespectful. I thought it was embarrassing. I thought it was flat out embarrassing. And you can say, oh, this is just sour grapes because you're a Titans fan. No, first of all, I've seen many other people on social media today who aren't even Titans fans. Some of them are media people who are just unbiased covering the NFL who have said this was ridiculous. Flat out disrespectful. Everybody in that building, everybody covering that draft knew who the Titans were taking with the first pick. They've known for at least a few weeks. They knew when the Titans were on the clock, they knew who they were taking. And what did they use that time to do? What did they use that 7 or 8 minutes to do while the Titans were on the clock and they knew they were taking Cam Ward? They spent 5 of those 8 minutes talking about Shedeur Sanders, playing Shedeur Sanders highlights and telling us why Shedeur was better than Cam Ward. That's what they were doing while the Titans were on the clock, clearly about to take Cam Ward, talking about Shedeur. A guy who didn't even get drafted last night. A second round at best quarterback. That's what they spent their time talking about while the Titans were on the clock getting ready to draft Cam Ward with the first overall pick. I mean, and you can go back and watch the live stream in real time while the Titans were on the clock. I literally said, why are we watching Shedeur Sanders highlights when the Titans are about to pick Cam Ward and everybody knows it? So that's the first thing that happened. Then the Titans pick Cam Ward. ESPN at this point has not even really talked about him. They're just talking about Shedeur. They can't stop talking about Shedeur. Then Cam gets picked. He can't even walk through the tunnel. He hadn't even gotten to the little mirror to put his hat on and look in. He hadn't even gotten there yet. And they're already like, oh, breaking news. The Browns have traded their pick to the Jaguars. And that was it. Cam walked out on stage and they showed him hugging Goodell and holding up his jersey. But you want to know what they were talking about the entire time? The Browns just traded their pick to the Jaguars. Let's talk about Travis Hunter. Let's talk about the Jaguars. Let's talk about the Browns. Let's talk about all this other stuff. Let's talk about Shedeur again. That's what was happening while the number 1 pick was on stage. And ESPN, again, I can't speak for NFL Network or ABC or Pat McAfee. I didn't watch any of those. They didn't even air Cam Ward's interview on ESPN. And if you watched the live stream last night, you know how I felt about it because I talked about it all night. I kept referencing it. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, didn't even air the interview with the number 1 pick in the draft. They interviewed the guard that Dallas took at number 12. They interviewed the corner that Buffalo took at number 30. But the number 1 pick in the draft's interview didn't even get broadcast on ESPN until Scott Van Pelt played it on his show at 11 o'clock Central Time after the draft ended. The least they could have done is said, hey guys, in all of the craziness of the trade happening, we missed Cam Ward's interview. We'd like to air that for you now. They could have at least done that. But they didn't even do that. They talked about Shedeur the entire time that the Titans were on the clock. Before Cam could even walk through the tunnel, they were already talking about Travis Hunter and all the trade stuff. And then they didn't even air his interview. And I'm pretty ticked off about that. Because this, and it's not just the fact that it's the Titans and whatever. Regardless of who picked him, this dude had no FBS offers coming out of high school. This kid was at the bottom and worked his way up to being the number 1 pick in the draft. Kid's got an incredible story, good kid. And the NFL and ESPN can't bother talking about him because they're too busy showing Shedeur's empty couch with the pillows that say legendary on it. Now, I don't have anything against Shedeur. I don't have anything against Coach Prime. Hope he gets picked tonight. Hope everything works out for him. But you want to know why I thought it was hilarious last night? When New Orleans passed on him and Pittsburgh passed on him and the Giants traded up to get a quarterback that wasn't him. You want to know why I thought it was funny? It wasn't because I don't like Shedeur, and it wasn't because I don't like Coach Prime. It's because I wanted to see Mel Kiper's face. I wanted to see Booger McFarland's face. I wanted to read Skip Bayless' stupid all caps tweets about how baffled they were because in their mind, Shedeur was a top 5 pick, when in reality, the scouts, the people who get paid to figure out who's a first-round talent, knew he wasn't a first-round talent a long time ago. And just because Dion is these guys' buddy, they wanted to make it all about him last night. Forget it. You deserve what you got. You deserve to look stupid. You deserve to sit there and watch him not get picked by anybody. You deserve to watch the Saints take a tackle. You deserve to watch Pittsburgh take a defensive tackle. You deserve to watch the Giants trade up to get Jackson Dart. And you deserve to have to go in there tonight and watch him maybe get drafted by the Browns with one of their 2 second-round picks in the top 4 of the second round tonight. But I don't even know if they're going to do that. You deserve it. You deserve to have to sit there with all of that stupidity on your face. Everybody on ESPN deserves to have to sit there after that crap they pulled last night, ruining Cam Ward's moment. But listen, this is a Titans podcast, but I'm not just going to stop there. Somebody said they're a Giants fan here. They ruined Jackson Dart's moment too. They ruined Jackson Dart's moment. I'm not going to say they ruined it, but because I don't think Jackson Dart cares. But in terms of their broadcast, they could not stop talking about Shedeur Sanders long enough to even acknowledge Jackson Dart, who the Giants traded up to get. They couldn't even acknowledge it. Couldn't even celebrate for the kid. Am I as high on Jackson Dart as some other people were? No, but you know what? He's a first-round talent now. He's a first-round quarterback. The Giants traded, he's going to New York. And they couldn't stop talking about the kid in Colorado who got his number retired, who couldn't even figure out how to get drafted by a first-round team. Listen, the New York Giants, nobody spent more time with Shedeur Sanders than the New York Giants. Nobody. And what did they decide to do at the end of the day after Shedeur wore cleats with their logo on it in the bowl game? They traded up to get somebody else. They passed on him at number 3, and then they traded up to get somebody else that wasn't him. So you can either walk away and believe there's some big giant conspiracy. There's all these rumors about his attitude and all these unfair things out there about him. No, just watch the film. Watch the film. Stop looking at his last name and watch the film. All of these people that said, well, would Cam Ward be a first-round talent in any other draft class? I believe he would. Would Shedeur? I don't think so. I think you can make an argument last year that Cam would have been a higher prospect than J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix or Michael Penix. I don't think you can make that same argument about Shedeur. But again, I don't even have anything against Shedeur. I don't have anything against Coach Prime. But they deserved, Mel Kiper and Booger McFarland and Skip Bayless and all those bozos, they deserved to have to sit there and watch that happen last night. While the Titans are on the clock and you know they're getting ready to draft Cam Ward, and you use all that time to talk about a guy who wasn't even going to get drafted last night. You deserve it. You earned it. You earned it. They compared him to Aaron Rodgers last night. They compared him to Tom Brady. I mean, it was sickening. Sickening to the point where I'm not even the type person to do this, but I'm watching the NFL Network tonight. I'm not even watching ESPN. I can't do it. I've got to watch NFL Network tonight.